Have you ever had the deep longing to travel and explore new cultures, places, and people, but you're not able to jet off just yet? Well, you're just in luck. I'm here to provide audio experiences that take you on imaginative journeys across the world, exploring all kinds of new places, both near and far. Welcome to Pieces of Travel. I'm your creator, Marisha, a travel and music aficionado, if you will. Each episode will be traveling to a new destination through storytelling and tunes based on local music culture. My biggest wish is to make travel accessible for all and trigger curiosity, expand mindsets to consider new cultures, inspire travel, and learn something with me along the way. Buckle up and hang tight because we're ready for takeoff. Hello, you, and welcome to Pieces of Travel. Let's not waste any time and get right into it. Come on and explore downtown Seattle, Washington with me. We will be walking the city, going to well-known attractions, visiting lots of coffee shops, and experiencing a swanky boutique hotel. I'd say the hotel could be the highlight of the trip overall for the coolness factor and affordability. Since this episode was a backlog from a trip taken in 2020, I curated the music based on the vibe of downtown Seattle solely, while incorporating local musicians and bands. Enjoy the trip, and if you enjoy this podcast, please follow, subscribe, and rate the show. Arriving in Seattle's most popular airport is super easy, and now you're ready to make your way downtown. Just a short trip away, there are options. You can either call a car, or there's always public transportation since Seattle does have rail systems that are actually pretty reliable. After a long travel day and arriving close to midnight limits your options, so you decide to call an Uber and get to your hotel as soon as possible. You're hungry, tired, and the city is closing down, so decisions need to be made quickly. After 30 minutes, you arrive at Pine and 7th, where Hotel Theodore lives, and based on the entrance to this boutique hotel, you know you've made a great choice. The hotel greets you right away with a warm smile, swanky scent, and delicious drink. They give you all the information you may need about the offerings. There's a lovely coffee shop called Made Coffee inside for your morning beverage and baked goods, free bike rental to explore the city upon availability, and nightly happy hour. Once you're checked in, you head up to the room to discover a masculine design with complementing leather headboard to settle in, and because it's so late at this point, you give up on searching for open restaurants. As dawn passes, you wake up well-rested and ready to take on the city. Heading downstairs to grab a coffee while smelling the aroma drift through the crisp morning air. Walking and biking are best options to explore any city to really get familiar, so you decide just that, because after all, it is the rainy city, yet it hasn't rained yet. Inquiring for the bikes, you find out other guests have taken them for the day, so walking it is. The streets of Seattle's downtown neighborhood see all kinds of characters. Homeless camp and occasionally roam high, doing as they please right as you pass by, while any type of musician plays their instruments exposing themselves to the world, or at least to the people walking by. Coffee choices are vast, and in fact, some of the best coffee you have ever tasted. Seattle gives such hip, cool, swanky, edgy vibes. A bit like LA, but without a pretentious feel. The typical must-sees like the sky-high rotating Space Needle, textured and colorful gum wall, Pike's Place, which is the largest continuously operating market in the US, and the famous Pier area are all no-brainers. Each is lovely in its own way, and from the pier you spot Mount Rainier peeking through, freshly snow-capped, all while ferries and sailboats roam the deep blue. It's easy to find a seat here and escape the crowds, soak in the unique beauty of the mainland, and admire the sun setting down behind the island just across. A few restaurants on Post Alley were recommended to you by the internet and word of mouth as musts, so you plan accordingly. An upscale, incredible Italian restaurant you booked for dinner sits just behind a pink door, with a situated dining room overlooking the water. It's said to be more of a local spot. Also, there's Bacco Bistro right down the street, and as you wander that direction for breakfast, you spot an hour-plus wait with the line stretched all the way around the corner and down the road. Weighing your options, you figure it's worth the wait, and once you sit down to fresh squeezed juice options available to order and breakfast plates that leave you stuffed, the wait definitely paid off. Next up, Chihuly Garden and Glass is a whimsical museum full of the artist's finest glass-blown work. The moment you enter the first room, it takes you on a colorful, mind-blowing journey through Chihuly's history and timeline of projects. Gigantic sculptures hang from the ceiling as chandeliers, while others float on water. It's truly a wonderful and unique experience. Further into the museum, and just before entering the gardens, you have the opportunity to sit in on a glass-blowing demo, which helps put these incredible pieces into perspective and all the work that goes into them. To exit the museum, it's encouraged to walk the path through the garden, which is an exhibit of glass-blown sculptures emerging from dirt, scaling over waves of tourists and popping out from behind flowers, some resembling even live plants. This few hours leaves you feeling like Alice must have felt in Wonderland. Moving along, Capitol Hill is one of the coolest neighborhoods you stumble upon during this trip. While heading over by foot to find some food, you end up at a bike cafe. Yes, they actually repair bikes in the cafe. After realizing this isn't quite what you expected, you spot a vegan bistro in the back with mini greenhouses for street dining and decide to go there for both the food and the experience. Alleyways in between here are quaint, and local artists' work covers full buildings and walls with flashy colors, while rainbow flags cover crosswalks. It's hard not to like. This district moves to its own unique beat. As you may have heard, a place you may have seen a time or two, our little friend Starbucks was born in Seattle. The original Starbucks is something any coffee lover should experience before leaving, but you'll have to wait to get in. The designs on merchandise is unlike anything you'll see in general stores, and many products have the original logo, which is pretty cool. Grab a cup there on the way out, just to say you did it. 9 blocks away, you continue to the Starbucks tour to one of the largest Starbucks reserves residing in the Pike Pine district. Walking in this ginormous space is enough to make you stop and stare. Exposed copper pipes and beams, marble and teak details throughout. Multiple counters to order all kinds of choices left out of the ordinary menu. You take it all in. Once you come back to reality, it's time to order some Italian food and a coffee-infused cocktail to rest and enjoy the experience of your last day here. Another beautiful, sunny morning, you wake early to get over to a fabulous local coffee shop in the business district, discovered during walks called Anchorhead Coffee, to grab a cup before leaving this beautiful city. After indulging in your specialized pastry and cup of joe, you're ready to head to the airport and decide to take public transport on the way back. Once on the journey to the airport, it's easy to register how nice it is to take the rail and soak in the views from above one last time. You think, yep, I'll definitely be back for more. This city has so much to offer, and I just barely scratched the surface. This podcast is a reflection of my personal journey and experiences that in no way should solely limit and define a location.